Britam hit 11-year high in its share price. And that's so because on 20th July, the share of Britam was going at 19 shillings and 95 cents at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, which is the highest ever price in 11 years. The stock of Britam has been exploding at the NSE, and this is not by accident. And I'm saying so because in just 1 week, the stock has increased by 28%. In just past 1 month, the stock has increased by 57%. And over the past 1 year, the stock of Britam at NSE has appreciated by 143%. This is an explosion in its stock. It isn't by accident because also the fundamentals point towards Britam being a company in very good health, and even so, we expect its shares to continue performing well at the NSE. That's why in this video, I want to analyze for you 7 reasons as to why the stock of Britam has been appreciating. In case you are new here, you are much welcomed to my channel. My name is Afagza Sifuna. I am a finance expert and qualified accountant, bringing you amazing videos each and every day about investing and making money. In case these are topics which you like, down there is a button called subscribe. Click the button to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any of the amazing videos I'm uploading each and every day. And while you still at it, drop a like on this video. Thank you for subscribing and also liking this video. And with that, the very first reason as to why the stock of Britam is exploding at the NSE is because the market is repricing the share of Britam. For the longest, Britam share has been viewed as undervalued in the market. So this rally we are seeing, where just in 1 week, the share has appreciated by 28%, in 1 month by 57%, and in 1 year by over 140%, is not by accident. This is the market repricing the stock of Britam because of investors' confidence and also fundamentals speaking to the value of this stock being higher. Therefore, investors are much willing to pay a higher price for the stock of Britam at the market. And then, reason number 2 as to why the stock of Britam is exploding is because the financials of Britam are backing this. And I'm saying so because last year's financials for Britam were very amazing. For example, its insurance revenue increased by 11% to upwards of 41 billion Kenya shillings. Okay? Its profit before tax increased by 8%, and its profit after tax did increase by 10% to hit 5.54 billion Kenya shillings, up from 5 billion the previous year. This is the balance sheet and income statement speaking to the financials of Britam, which are pointing towards a positive increase across the different metrics, whether it is profit, whether it is asset, you name it. So that solid financial grounding also says the business is in good health, and that is why we are seeing the stock of Britam increase at the NSE. And then the third reason as to why the stock of Britam is doing well at the NSE is because of another important metrics called earnings per share. Guys, it is one thing to say, for example, a company had profit after tax of 5.54 billion Kenya shillings. But then again, the most useful metrics to any savvy investor out there, they want to understand how much did the company make on each of its shareholding, simply earnings per share. And Britam's earnings per share has increased by 10% in the past 1 year because it increased to 2 shillings and 18 cents, up from 1 shilling and 98 cents, which with a jump of 10% heralds to a good business, because EPS is one of the key metrics which investors out there need to be looking at when they are gauging the health of a company, because an increase year in, year out in EPS points towards the company doing well financially, because it means year in, year out, it is working to generate more earnings or more wealth to the shareholders. In case you see the EPS declining, that could be a cause for alarm. But when the EPS is objectively increasing across year in, year out on any company stock, it is a good sign. And the one for Britam did increase by 10% over the past 1 year, indicating the company is doing amazing and creating shareholders' wealth. And then the fourth reason is because Britam is becoming financially stronger. Guys, just beyond the incomes which I've spoken about, the assets for Britam are upwards of 243 billion Kenya shillings. Of course, it has really diversified its investment. And when you see a financial institution also having its asset increase, it points towards its increased propensity or ability to continue generating more and more wealth for shareholders. And that is why we are seeing also its stock do well at the NSE, because it is becoming financially stronger, because even just last year, its assets did increase. And then the fifth reason as to why the stock of Britam is exploding is because its dividend story has changed for good. And I'm saying so because in the most recent years, Britam did really struggle. It wasn't paying dividends. Case in point, even last year, despite having a profit of 5.54 billion Kenya shillings, the board of directors didn't approve for Britam to pay any dividend. And that's so because it has been having historical debt. So it's been working to clear those losses over the years, which of course has been a struggle. And one big thing happened earlier this year. The board did approve for Britam to be able to remove some of the monies from its share premium account to be able to offset the losses of the parent company to pave way for the future payment of dividends. And that, of course, was ratified by shareholders about mid-year, where 5.8 billion Kenya shillings through its share premium account is to offset the debts. And with that, it is actually paving way for future payment of dividends. And when you see a company where its share price is appreciating in the market at the stock exchange, and also the board very keen to pay dividends to shareholders, that is a company which is granting value to shareholders, the people who essentially own the company. And that is actually drawing investors to continue investing in the stock of Britam. When you look at the NSE, the stock of Britam is also pushing amazing trade volumes because of such kind of nuances. And then, reason number 6 as to why the stock of Britam is exploding is because investors are looking beyond the insurance business, and Britam is availing the ideal cocktail for them. I'm saying so because out here people assume Britam is just an insurance company. It is beyond that. Britam has a vast regional presence in East and Southern Africa, and even gaining very amazing traction in Central Africa at the DRC, where it is also setting up its insurance entity at the DRC through an acquisition. And it's really diversified beyond the typical general insurance. It is providing health insurance, okay? It is in properties management, and really continue to diversify its portfolio. So investors are also looking at this diversification which is happening within the company, and the expansion is a good sign of the company continuing to strengthen its financial position. And then the 7th reason as to why Britam's stock is exploding at the NSE is because the entire financial sector in the country, which of course we know is banking and also insurance, is being re-rated. Guys, we've seen a crazy run across these two sectors in the country, insurance and also banking, where even in the banking sector, you've seen some stocks increase very rapidly in their share prices. Talk about, for example, Coop Bank, talk about, for example, Equity, talk about KCB, other companies other like Stanbic have seen their stock also increase. For example, even Coop Bank, its stock increased by over 100% in the past 1 year. One thing of interest is that what most people out there don't know, in the banking sector, for example, HF Finance has also been on a crazy run in the past recent months, okay? Starting earlier in the year when its profit increased by 250% to hit 1.6 billion Kenya shillings in the past 1 year. And beyond that, also, it really increasing its loan accounts even through state lending. What most people don't know is that The largest shareholder or owner in HF Group is Britam. Britam does own about 49% stake in HF Group. So when HF Group is also doing amazingly well in the banking sector, the ripple effect also trickles to who the owners are. And the largest or the biggest shareholder is Britam. Therefore, this re-rating of the entire financial industry in the country is also contributing to Britam stock continuing to explode at the NSE. And with that, you may be asking yourself, is this run over, or are we bound to see more and more increase in the share price of Britam? I think two things are bound to happen. With the current fundamentals and the setup in the market, chances are the stock of Britam is most likely going to continue rallying, increasing and increasing, where shareholders are going to benefit from the share price appreciation, and in the near future, dividends too, given the shareholders in the most recent meeting did approve that restructuring when it comes to the debt of the parent company to allow Britam to be able to pay dividends in the future. So I think this is just Britam in the course of its business. It's not an end. We are bound to see greater things stemming from the stock of Britam. What do you all think? Are you a Britam investor? Have you been monitoring how the stock has been faring on at the NSE? Share your thoughts down below. Comment down below. Let's continue discussing there. Cheers, guys. Catch up in the next video.